Hello students, welcome to FYBSc class. Today we are going to discuss about the generation time and dioxy growth of bacteria from the chapter Microbial Growth of FYBSc Paper 2 MB 122 Microbial Cultivation and Growth. The learning objectives of this lecture is to understand generation time and what is dioxy growth. So let's start with the generation time. So as you know, bacteria divide by the process of binary fission. Binary fission is a process where one bacterium will divide and it will give rise to two number of bacterial cell. So, the time that one required for the bacteria to give rise to two daughter cell under optimum conditions, that time is known as the generation time. The generation time will be vary with each bacterium. Now, if you take the example of E. coli, then the generation time, that is the time required for the E. coli to give rise to two daughter cells, is about 20 minutes. While in case of the bacterium which can causes the tuberculosis, that is the Mycobacterium tuberculosis as well as Mycobacterium leprae, they are having higher or the longer generation time. Now, in case of the Mycobacterium tuberculosis, the generation time is 20 hours, while in case of the Mycobacterium leprae, the generation time is 20 days. The bacteria, they first replicates their DNA and then they will multiply by producing millions of cells within 24 hours, and therefore we normally incubate bacterial cell up to 24 hours. It also depends on the type of the bacteria which are cultivating or the isolating. But normally, the mesophilic bacteria, the one which can grow at the room temperature, they are incubated for 24 hours. So after 24 hours, we'll get the million number of copies of the bacterial cell. If we take the example of E. coli, if we incubate the E. coli cell for about 7 hours, then after the 7 hours, that E. coli cell will undergo 20 generation. That is, it will produce 1 million cell. Now, if we further incubate that E. coli cell for about 10 hours, then it will undergo 30 generation and it will produce 1 billion cell. So, similarly, if we incubate them for 24 hours, then they will produce the 10 raised to 21 cells. So after this point, the multiplication of the bacteria will be stopped or will be prohibited. So what factors are responsible for this prohibition of the multiplication of bacteria? So the nutrients which are present within that medium, they are utilized by this bacteria, that is the exhaustion of nutrients, and second one is the toxic products which are produced by the bacteria, they are getting accumulated within that medium and that will prohibit or erase the multiplication rate of the bacteria. Next concept is the growth rate. So the growth rate of a bacterial population can be measured in terms of the increase in the biomass, and it is mainly determined in the exponential or the logarithmic phase of the growth curve. So growth curve or the growth rate is the most important way where we can express the success of that particular species or the strain. It will indicate how that species will adapt to that natural environmental or the experimental uh, conditions in which they are growing. So growth rate of the microbial population is a measure of increase in the biomass over time. Next one is the specific growth rate. So specific growth rate, within that we can measure how an individual cell can reproduce, that is how fast that individual cell will reproduce to give rise to two daughter cells. And this also depend on the nutritional environment of the cell. If the nutritional environment will support the all the nutrients which are required for the growth of that organism, then the specific growth rate will be higher. The specific growth rate is defined by the equation nu is equal to 1 upon x into dx upon dt, where this sign will indicate the equality of the definition. The specific product formation rate, we can define it by using the equation Qp is equal to 1 upon x dp upon dt. Next topic is the dioxy growth. So the phenomena of this dioxy growth was discovered by scientist J. Monod about 35 years ago. Now, in case of the dioxy growth, it is represented by diphasic growth. As its name indicate, di means two, phase means two growth curves which are followed by the short or intervened by the short lag phase. Now, the organism, they are showing two growth curves because this organism, they can utilize two different sugars which are present within that medium. One of the sugar is glucose. So if we grow the E. coli bacterium in the medium which consists of the two sugar, that is the glucose and the lactose, then the E. coli, they first utilize the simpler form of the sugar, that is glucose, and they will start to synthesize the enzyme during the lag phase. By using that they can utilize the glucose. So during the lag phase, they are busy in the synthesizing of enzymes, and therefore you will not see any kind of the increase in number of cells. But once this E. coli cell, they have adjusted to the glucose, then they start to utilize the glucose, and therefore they will enter the next phase of the growth curve, that is the logarithmic phase, where you can see exponential increase in the number of bacterial cells. Now these two phases will be continued until this E. coli cell, they utilize or exhaust the glucose which is present within that medium. Now after exhaustion of the glucose, then this bacteria, they can utilize the lactose. But before utilize this lactose, they need to synthesize the enzyme. By using that, they can utilize this lactose. So again, after the logarithmic phase of the glucose, that one is followed by the short lag phase. During that, the organisms, they will synthesize the enzymes which are needed for the lactose utilization. So here you can see the two phases of the growth curves are represented by this E. coli cell. So if we plot the graph of bacterial density against time, then you can see two growth curves which are follow one after the other, and they are intervened by short lag phase to produce the dioxy growth curve. Now, to utilize the lactose, the enzyme which is required by this E. coli is the beta-galactosidase. The main function of this beta-galactosidase enzyme is that it can break down the lactose into glucose and the galactose. Lactose is the disaccharide. So when the breakdown of the lactose is there, then it will split into glucose and the galactose. Again, these bacteria, they first utilize the glucose for their growth, but they can also utilize the galactose as a carbon source, but only after that glucose they have utilized. Now, for the utilization of the galactose, they will convert galactose into the glucose, and then they will start to utilize this form of the glucose. Now, if E. coli cells they are grow in the medium which consists of the two substrate or the sugar like the glucose and the galactose, then also they will produce dioxy growth curve. So, similar kind of the diphasic growth response was found if we support the medium with the sugars like the arabinose, maltose, sorbitol. So these sugars will be used in combination with the glucose by E. coli cell. So each of these sugars they are utilized only after the organism has utilized all the glucose which is present within that growth medium. So the cause of dioxy growth is complex and it is not completely understood. But we can say that it is the type of catabolite repression or the glucose effect. So what is catabolite repression? Catabolite repression of the lactose operon of E. coli, where this glucose, if it is present within the medium, then it will exert its inhibition effect on the transcription of the lag gene. It will not allow the genes which are required for the utilization of lactose they are to be expressed, and therefore if the glucose is present, then organism have to utilize the glucose first, then after the exhaustion of the glucose, then they can transcribe and the translate all the genes so that they can synthesize the enzyme, and then they start to utilize the next sugar which is present within that nutrient medium. So lactose utilization enzymes, they are not synthesized although lactose is present within the medium. In addition to that lactose, if the medium is supplemented with the glucose. So once this glucose is completely consumed or the utilized by the E. coli, then only the bacterium they will transcribe the lactase operon genes, and that will result in the production of necessary enzyme. So they start to metabolize the lactose. Now this type of the growth curve is the dioxy growth curve. So here you can see within this graph, the two growth phases are observed or the growth curves are observed. So during the first growth curve, the organism will utilize the glucose which is present within that medium. So what is this one is followed by the lag phase. During that, the organism will synthesize the enzyme. By using that, they can utilize the glucose, which is followed by the exponential curve. Then once they utilize the glucose which is present within that medium, they need the time to synthesize the enzyme. By using that, they can utilize the lactose. So here you can see second lag phase can be observed. Now once they synthesize the enzyme by using, they can utilize lactose, then the exponential growth of the bacteria is there within that growth medium. So within this graph, two growth curves are present, and such a kind of the curves are known as the dioxic growth curve. The cause of this dioxic growth curve is not completely understood, but as we have discussed, catabolite repression is play a very important part. Now, the enzymes which are required for the utilization of the glucose, they are constitutive in nature. Now, what is mean by constitutive? That is, this enzyme they are always produced whether that glucose is present within that medium or not, and it is unaffected by the cap activity. Now, when we provide the glucose, then what will happen? The level of cyclic AMP was drops, and therefore it results in the deactivation of the CAP, that is a catabolite activator protein, and it will inhibit the expression of the lac operon. So the decrease in the concentration of cyclic AMP, it may be due to the phosphoenol pyruvate or the phosphotransferase system, which show its activity on the adenylyl cyclase, and this adenylyl cyclase is mainly responsible for the synthesis of cyclic AMP. Now, the enzyme 3 of this PTS, they will donate the phosphate to the glucose during its transport, and therefore when it enters the cell, the glucose is always present in the form of glucose 6 phosphate. Now, once this enzyme 3 is get converted into the phosphorylated form, it will also activate the second enzyme, that is the adenylyl cyclase. Now, if the glucose is rapidly transported by this enzyme 3, then the amount of phosphorylated enzyme 3 will be lower, and it will carry out the deactivation of adenylyl cyclase. And once this adenylyl cyclase they are present in deactivated form, then cyclic AMP level will be dropped. These are the references. You can refer a textbook on microbial cultivation and the growth published by the Success Publication, and the authors are Dr. Sunita H. Patil, Dr. Sucheta N. Patil, and the Prajakta Patsorkar. This is the second PPT, that is the slide share PPT, that also you can refer. Thank you.